Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm bringing you an art journal page, and I know that I haven't been art journaling very much. This one was my Something Blue page for March, and I just finished it up today. And I'm just going to walk you through what I did. There's not rhyme or reason. If you're looking for someone who is an art journaling expert and knows how all the mediums are going to work together, that's not me. I just like blue, and I just play with the paint until I have some fun. So I've gone through a whole bunch of stuff and gotten out all sorts of amazing blues and put them together. I've used some Dilutions blue in that flat jar to spread with the credit card. And then I have some Adina Wakely's, I think it might be called Night, dark blue. It's amazing, and the containers have changed. I think now it might be in a tube or vice versa, so your package might look a little different. And grabbed a stencil. Then I have a lot of blue paper sitting around because they make me happy, so I grabbed this one that's blue and has foiling in it, and it's gold foil. Usually I would probably go more silver, but I went gold. And I used my regular art glitter glue to put that on the page. Some of you might have used a paste or some other mixed media product, but it works just fine. And then I came back with some white paint. And the reason I'm mixing on the credit card, I'm super messy. You'll see in another place where I put the paint down on my mat and then I lay stuff in it. So one of the tricks for me is if I do my mixing on a cottage cheese lid, which they were out in the shop and it was cold and I didn't want to go get one, or on a credit card or some kind of card itself, then I can pick those up and move them and it's not on my mat because I won't take the time to stop and clean up paint. So now I'm just showing you I have mixed and mushed and put a bunch of different things on. And obviously I've sped this up like 4 times. I mean, I worked on this forever, too long. Then I came back and I just kind of whitewashed it. It was a little harsh. It had a lot of edges I didn't like. So I whitewashed it and kind of faded that super dark blue out. Then what I'm doing there is I'm hitting it with a Kleenex to pull off some of the whitewash so the paper isn't just one tone. So it has some of that super navy showing through. Then I looked at it, didn't have any balance. I wanted some of that paper on the other side. On the other side, I used my Beacons 3-in-1 glue. Not really for rhyme or reason, but partly because it was on that curve, and that stuff holds crazy. So I thought that might be good. Then I came back in. The funny thing is when I was editing this video, I knew when I did that stenciling, there was this weird middle part that didn't have any, and I thought, oh, I should have hit that. Well, look at that. I came back and did it later, and then it was interesting because it was a different tone. Now we've faded. I've let it sit for a couple days. I've come back in with a brush that was my grandma's, so this brush makes me happy. My grandma was an amazing painter. Her first painting is on my blog, my website at craftingrelaxing.com. But after that, her paintings got amazing. And so this is one of her brushes. It makes me happy. And I washed the whole page with gray. I mentioned that yesterday was a hard day in our household. And if you've made it this far in this video, then, you're probably a Crafting Relaxing family member. So I'll tell you that we lost our Pooh Bear. So I kind of felt like I knew where this page was going the whole time, but that was a turning point for me. So I just felt a little grayed the whole page, kind of muted it down, and then started to change it a little. So I hit it with that pencil. What's that pencil called? You guys know. Here we go. No. The Stabilo in a blue, went around it, then got it wet again. Then I put some more marks, just kind of made it more interesting and had fun. I just needed to play with some paint and escape a little. I think that's what art journaling does that maybe card making. Okay, see that? So that tissue got in the paint because I put the paint all over the board. So that's where using cards and moving it helps me. Then I just put my fingers in the paint. If you haven't finger painted lately, I'm telling you, do it. It makes you happy. It makes you forget that maybe everything isn't perfect in your day, and it's relaxing. There's no rules to it. Do it. Southern Gals Design, Tiffany, she'll tell you the same thing. And when she said it, I was like, what? And then I did it, and she was right. So I took a couple of different blues. I had one that was too bright, didn't like it. Here I'm just putting that in my messy journal. Had a drawing I didn't really like, was testing eyes, went over it. I don't like to waste the paint, right? Put it on something. Then I decided to come back with some white. So on the page right now, it looks like those blues don't have any depth, but they did have some. And then I added it. Art journaling is one of those things where maybe you don't know where it's going, or you don't know how you're going to get there, and you just keep playing with it and having fun. Then I grabbed my black food ball pen. I have the blue one, of course, but I wanted some black in there. I wanted some contrast, and I wanted it to accent the letters that I was going to use. So just bringing in some dots, having some fun. They're kind of like the leaves, the vine. And I could have done squares because I already have squares. This is a funny page because there's no stars. You wouldn't think I made it except for all the blue. But this food ball pen writes on acrylic paint. It's pretty amazing. If you don't have one and you're into mixed media and messy stuff, you should probably have one of these. There I just put that piece of paper over it because the thing is damp, and I don't care about my sleeve, but I don't want to be smearing the paint all over. So I knew from the beginning what this page was going to say. We were having a hard time in our household, washing rugs. Pooh was peeing all over. Then she was throwing up. We were getting up every 2 hours in the night. I mean, it was miserable. And the song kept playing in my head. And if you listen to country, you know this song. And the song is, you're going to miss this. You're going to want this back. You're going to wish these days hadn't gone by so fast. And that's where I was. That's what I was thinking about. I couldn't get the page to come together, but I knew what it was going to say. And I like these foam thickers. They're my favorite. So I like to use them on my projects. And I got them out and started looking at them. And I knew that I wanted Miss to be with those letters. I have others where I could use a pen or I could paint, but I knew that I wanted it to be with those. So that's why I started with the word Miss. And usually I tear my backgrounds or I use fabric or that kind of thing. This one, I cut it and I liked it. I knew they were square and final, and it kind of went with what I was thinking about for the message. So then I went away and I let it dry because I didn't want the blue acrylic paint to seep into that white crepe paper. That's all that is just like you would make rosettes with for cards. And so I just let it dry. Then I came back and laid it out. Then I was trying to figure out, am I going to use Beacons 3-in-1? My Beacons is a little thick and dried. And I know you can thin it, but I don't have that stuff. And then I thought, I don't want big goopy mess. So I put art glitter glue behind the letters. So it says, you're going to miss this, but it's a pretty clean look. It's kind of final, right? I think it went with what I was trying to do. And lots of times you'll see that the stuff for your art journal pages, you change your medium or you change, other times I would tear my crepe paper for sure, or tissue paper. I love torn tissue, but this one I kind of wanted it straight and rigid and final. So then I skipped the word miss and went down to the bottom. That's kind of a trick if you're doing brads or enamel dots and you're trying to put things in a row and space them evenly. Don't go 1 through 4. Put the 2 and the 4 and then center the miss between it. Does that make sense? That way you can make sure that this was the most important word to me, and I wanted to make sure that I really liked how it laid out on the page. And there you go. That's my page. You're going to miss this, and I'll date it down below. And for those of you who have stayed this long, I didn't want it to be a sad video. I didn't want to, it's a sad time, but she was an old dog, and we rescued her and spoiled her rotten. And so I put in a little clip of her and Wilson wrestling. And you'll notice that she's wrestling with a great big dog, and he bows down to her. This is called play bowing. And then she does it and says, wait, come get me, come get me. And then watch this. So this is after dinner wrestling at our house. And Wilson had been with us for 5 years, and this was what we did. See, she runs away, then she comes back and gets him. And then he cowers down, and watch, she pins him. So it's happy, don't worry. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.